when you're working from home, it's a lot more difficult to clock out. If you're like hanging out and like playing a video game at 12 a.m., it's like, oh, you could be working and doing some crazy shit. When I was in high school and I was like, oh man, I really like Dragon Ball Z. And then the only people that I could talk to about it were like the most upsetting people to be around. The ocean, not a fan, low key. You know, not a fan of the ocean. In fact, I think we should boil the oceans. That's my solution to global warming. Boil the oceans.
What motivates you to continue to dip your toe in the hot take water?
Part of me is like, probably not worth it. But then eventually I'm just like, I don't really care.
Did you have any further thoughts on why the Disney live-action remakes are all so bad?
That doesn't have to be good. As long as it's fine, it'll be a huge success. But I feel cynical about it because now this movie becomes a cause.
Hey, welcome to The Create Unknown, the home of Make Something Mean Something. It is TCU's Day. We are here live on Discord every Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern. I am Kevin Lieber, and with me, as always, is Matthew Tabor.
Yeah, and I'm excited. Little mini studio is coming along. Workbenches assembled. There's another workbench on the way. Next week, on Tuesday, I should be set to stream from a place that'll look like a project a little bit, but finally, that room will be set up. And Ben, producer-editor Ben, gave me back my studio lights, so I can actually afford to pop those on without having the overhead light installed. But I'm excited to get the main gear set up and running because it looks fantastic. It's amazing. You guys will be able to see that. And then slowly throughout the fall and winter, as weather permits, I'm going to be adding to the studio. Bookshelves are a concern right now because the aesthetics, I'm so particular about them that finding exactly the right shelving is a little bit of a project, but things are good. I'm excited.
Good. We're going to get some photo updates at some point. All right, when are you ready to actually show us visual evidence of this?
Well, I'll have the webcam on next week. It's really going to be a painted room at that point. But one thing that we don't mention often enough is the link in the description that we've got for Main Gear. Check out their stuff. The code that we've got down there gets you 1 additional year on the warranty. It's nice. But the 2 PCs that we've gotten from them have been flying. I mean, absolutely flying. Enough so that it makes me question my commitment to the Apple ecosystem. So I'm a little confused. I'm confused at this point.
All right. Well, there's no confusion about our upcoming lineup of TCU guests. What we have going for you next week, when you're hopefully up and ready to show us what's going on in your new room. Matt will be without me. There'll be a Kevinless episode next week as I will be at an event. The next week we'll have Bobby Duke, the absolutely unbelievable artist.
Yeah.
Following that, Matt and I will have no guest, but we'll be talking about a concept that I have come up with recently that is like the opposite of quiet quitting. I don't know if you've seen this quiet quitting thing sort of trending online. We're gonna talk about the opposite of quiet quitting. And then just today, happy to announce that we've booked Nile Red for October 11th. Yes. Nile Red will be here. Really a very long time requested guest. So excited for that. Yes. But without further ado, let's get to a returning guest tonight.
That's right. There's an old saying that an expert is somebody who knows more and more about less and less until he knows everything there is to know about nothing, such as the fate of the specialist. And we do, in the unknown, we do advocate focusing on one thing and getting really good at it. But there's no question that the creatives who we talk to, the ones who are the most interesting and tend to have the strongest staying power, are the polymaths who can seemingly do everything. The Egyptians had Imhotep. The colonies and eventually a nation had Benjamin Franklin. YouTube has Chris Ray Gun. And he's actually one of the few people who needs a link tree. Years ago, his politically themed videos helped influence the zeitgeist. And then it was music, and then it was comedy, and then it was musical comedy. Chris has always been a gamer, and that's still going strong. But he's also got the Snark Tank podcast with Derek and Sweeney. Those episodes run 2 to 3 hours. And then there's Sacred Symbols, a PlayStation podcast with Colin Moriarty. Those episodes run 4 hours. When you lay out Chris's body of work and the pace that he works at, it seems like his entire life is filmed, streamed, recorded, plugged in, uploaded. And if not, something melodious or funny is coming out of his mouth. As he's evolved and adapted to a host of platforms, Chris appears to be getting ever closer to just doing exactly what he wants to do, and people love it. One thing has changed dramatically, though. Chris announced the other day that he's now living on his own. Now, with that body of work, is living on your own, Chris, is it going to make you more or less productive?
That whole thing gave me a panic attack. I hate that. That was way too. That was so. When you said all the hours and shit, I was like, oh my god. It doesn't even feel that way, but I hope so. I hope I can maintain some. I think it'll be the problem that I'm having generally, just being alone for the first time, is that it's a lot more difficult to bounce ideas off of people because there's no one around except the haunting voices in my head. So it's a little bit trickier, but I'd imagine at the same time there's less distractions. So I'm sure it'll be fine.
That's what I was wondering, is the distraction element. I remember years and years ago, I actually worked in an office while doing YouTube stuff, and it was pretty hard to get work done in that environment. At least it was for me, because there's always just somebody to chat with, and somebody's coming over to your cubicle or you're going over to their cubicle. And when you're in that sort of Office Space, the movie environment, I've just found making YouTube videos, it's such a solitary thing that I don't know. I wondered, when you said that you were living by yourself now and how that was a new experience, how that would affect your productivity and your creativity.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was definitely easier to have somebody just in another room hold the camera real quick while I did something stupid. Mm-hmm. That was a lot simpler. But at the same time, I'm living alone, but I'm living around people that I know who are, very supportive and very cool. And, I could always just call people up if I need extra hands. But I don't know. I think productivity is weird. I feel like a lot of, because there's this big thing that happened specifically after the pandemic where people were like, man, we're all working from home and it's weird. And I kind of get that, because if you don't have the space, especially I fortunately have I have my office, I have my bedroom, I have my living room, I have all these aspects of my life separate, which I think is beyond important when you're when you're working in a space that you also live in.
Wait, can you explain that a little bit more?
Oh, well, I just think because I was working out of my room for a really, really long time, and it gets a little, there was a period of time when I was doing YouTube that I was like, oh, I kind of miss I kind of miss working at a place, because when I was at a place, I would shift away from all of the modes that I was in at home. You know what I mean? Oh, I'm not working 3 feet away from my 4K OLED television. You know what I mean? Right. it's just it's this massive, at any moment I could be what's 5 minutes? Whereas when you're working from home, it's a lot more difficult to clock out. It's also a little bit more difficult to clock out doing in this sphere of work in general, just because a lot of people are their own bosses and they're handling everything. They're handling marketing, they're handling negotiation with brands, they're handling, making the visual media thumbnails and all that shit, maybe Twitch assets. They're in control of every aspect, which is freeing, but it's also ironically very trapping, because you're always in this mode where you could be working right now.
Mm-hmm.
If you're hanging out and playing a video game at 12 a.m., it's oh, you could be working and doing some crazy shit.
I'm really torn on this, and I go back and forth and have literally for 15 years. 15 years, because I think back to when I first started, somebody said, somebody who was a writer told me when I was doing editing things, they said, get up, put on clothes, shower and get dressed and put on clothes as if you're going to work. And then just, even if your desk is in the bedroom next to your bed, this will make a difference to your mood and attitude. And it did. That was absolutely right. But other times I've been, I've had a notebook in a room, a European studio that was kind of barely big enough for the bed. Like I had one where I had to literally turn to the side and shuffle out because the bed was so close to the wall. And that was fine. That was okay.
Yeah,
now that I'm home, I really do waffle between how much I need to separate things. Like I've been talking about setting up this studio. That's partially, like there are a lot of factors that go into it. One of them being that's going to be easier to both heat and light. My dependence on foreign oil is heavy duty. I'd like it to be cheaper to work in a small room in the winters. But other times I really do want to be removed. I had an office in town that was separate from my house, and I like that a lot, being able to go there. Now I like being able to go downstairs and start working. So I do not know what to think. And if you ask me about it tomorrow, I probably have a completely different answer. Yeah,
I think it fluctuates, generally speaking. I do think, I think generally speaking, as long as you have a separation of space in some way, I don't think you need to have like an office on the other side of town. You know, if I had to go to an office every day, no, I think I'd rather be shot at a Denny's than do that. Like I don't. That's not the life that I want to live.
Wait, what? Did you say shot at a Denny's?
Like absolutely.
Like murder in Denny's.
I would rather the news say Chris Ray got found shot dead at Denny's than ever have to go to an office again.
That's like such a specific comparison.
How is that the lowest of the low, though? There's got to be something lower. Like, I'd rather be shot in a Denny's than be like stabbed at a Del Taco. There's got to be something lower.
Yeah. What are we doing? What are these analogies? Okay, what's the lowest? What would be the worst way to be murdered and the worst place to be murdered? That's publicly known.
I think it'd probably be worse to I don't know, maybe man, that's a big question. Maybe
strangled,
experience the entirety of an entire chemo treatment at an Applebee's.
Oh my God.
Maybe
it's one big marathon.
Yeah,
this could go on for years, by the way. But I think generally, as long as you have some separation of space, it doesn't have to. You don't have to have a 5-bedroom house. Or you're this is the room where I piss, and this is the room where I shit. It's good to have just some base separation, especially with your sleep and your work. I feel like that was the biggest change for me doing this. It's I feel so much healthier now that I'm not sleeping and turning around and immediately and being faced with oh, this is your work environment. You know, it's as long as that separation is there, I think it's pretty good. But yeah, no, going to an office, nah. Especially with fucking gas right now, no way. I had to work at Sears when I was just out of high school. And the Sears was 40 minutes away. Gas was $4 an hour, $4 a gallon back then. And it was just, I made enough to get to Sears and maybe get a sandwich. It was such a terrible, gig. It was I think it was $7.25 was minimum wage at that point. I think it's still the federal, as far as I know. Although I'm sure it's different in state to state. Yeah. But that was absolute hell, and I wouldn't wish it on anybody. Fuck retail. And how it ruins songs that really don't need to be ruined because you hear them every single day.
Oh, I never even thought about that.
Oh, have you never worked retail?
I've always, before YouTube, I always worked in restaurants and clubs. So I would hear a lot of music, but in the restaurants, I'd work in the kitchen. We would just play our own music. So that was cool.
Yeah. So you don't have, so you basically you worked in environments where they constantly kind of switch things up because they had to.
Yeah, the club would more or less play the same songs, but I hate that music anyway, so there was no place for me to fall. It wasn't oh, I like this song, and now I don't. It was I was already at the bottom, and I couldn't get any lower, so I wasn't disappointed by the results.
Yeah, it's just there's certain songs that I'll hear either passing by on the radio or maybe when I'm at a place. Specifically at a department store or a mall in the event that because I live fairly close to I try to do as little shopping online as is possible just to get out of this sedentary existence that it's so easy to find yourself in when you're doing this stuff. Mm-hmm. And I'll often find myself in the mall just picking stuff up and I'll hear a song and it'll be a Vietnam flashback where I'm back in the back room at Sears starving.
In the fetal position.
What song would trigger you right now? What would be that Manchurian Candidate moment that gets you, that sends you, you'll pick up a gun and you'll go straight to a Denny's?
Oh, literally.
What's the song that would make you do that?
Literally, I feel like any Mariah Carey song ever. Because they for some reason Sears in particular abused the hell out of it to the point where like I didn't really listen to that music anyway, so I didn't know who this person was. But every time I heard it, I'd be like, I fucking hate this. And somebody would be like, you hate Mariah Carey? I was like, I don't care who she is. She's haunting me. This is absolute hell.
Yeah, that would be a good example of somebody who I was already at the bottom with, and it like couldn't really get lower. Oh
my god, the Christmas music. Somebody just posted in the chat the Christmas songs. Christmas music. Christmas is ruined for me because I had a job, I think.
And I heard she was getting sued over one of these Christmas songs.
Is she really? Mariah Carey?
Yeah. I wish I knew more about it off the top of my head.
The royalties? Because I thought I read something about her making something like $1.5 million on royalties on that song alone.
That is
All I Want
crazy.
for Christmas Is You every year.
And somebody's suing her about it. After all this time, of course, it's one of those lawsuits where it's like, okay, 30 years later, now you're mad. But, it's like the Nirvana Baby whose court case finally got thrown out for good.
Oh,
did you know about that?
Yeah, the baby on the cover of Nevermind right here. He was like, I didn't give you permission to photograph me as a barely sentient fucking fetal beast.
yeah. As a literal
wiener's
newborn.
On there. I mean, none of your wieners are part of like global culture, are they?
As a baby,
you might feel funny.
Who cares? No way.
What do you mean? Who cares?
Do you really think that guy goes
the wiener he's got today?
Wait, it's not still that size. I don't think.
But it's the same wiener. So
no,
what? It's the same one.
Do you think that this guy was like? Do you think this guy was like really haunted by this? Do you think this guy like? Oh, he would go to school and then people would be like, I know that guy. That's the baby from the cover of Nirvana's Nevermind, circa 1990 fucking whatever. Like it's
impossible.
There's no way. It's impossible. People don't look like their baby selves. What? Like it's just that was such a weird thing. Like what was the lawsuit for? Like was it specifically like, oh, I didn't give you permission, or was it like damages?
I think it was damages. I think
that's
it was like
insane. Fuck you.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Yeah, that it was like somehow pornographic, and he didn't obviously consent to it, and I think it got thrown out by 3 judges before the final judge was like, the answer is no. You cannot sue them for this. Please go away. That was like pretty much the end of it.
I love the idea that they would still call him Nirvana Baby, like an official, like listen, I'm sorry,
nobody
Nirvana
knows
Baby,
his real name, which further goes to your
You don't
point.
know what he's been through.
Yeah, it's like,
you know how people can recognize kind of like if there's a child that was adopted and they see their birth parents later in life, or there's a long lost sibling or something, they know there's something there. What if that's happened to him? What if the night on his wedding night when he's losing his virginity because he's done the right thing and he's waited.
Yes.
he strips down and the girl stops and she's like, where have I seen this before?
I
know that
recognize
didn't
this.
happen. I think I know this, but I can't place it. How do you know that didn't happen to him?
It would hold a lot more weight if he was still the baby.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like if he had like an Andy Milonakis type ailment where he just sort of was perpetually like a Vern Troyer-sized infant.
Yes, like the Nirvana Hasbullah. Shout out to Hasbullah for getting a 5-year UFC contract. By the way, I'm so excited about that. I don't know what that means, but only good things will come from that. Chris, do you follow Hasbullah on social media at all?
Dude, that's like UFC shit.
Hasbullah, Matt, how would you describe Hasbullah?
Oh my God. He's very, very small, and he got famous by punching. Which guy was it? He punched him in the face. Which UFC guy?
He has collabed a lot with Khabib Nurmagomedov, who is one of the greatest UFC fighters of all time. But he like hangs out with.
That was like a fucking incantation you just said. I'll be real. Like I don't know really anything about sports. Like when I was young, obviously like I'm a Hispanic New Yorker, so my parents ushered me into the indentured servitude of baseball. And I did a little bit of baseball, and I was pretty good at it, but I didn't like it. But that was all that I ever did. Like I only know who Derek Jeter is because he's inescapable. or he was
Well,
inescapable at the time back then in that area. You know,
For sure. A legend. But so somebody, I can't believe nobody in the episode chat is posting Hasbullah pictures right now. Can somebody get on this? So we can
somebody
show
get
Chris Hasbullah.
So many that are so good.
Wait, is that him?
There's a reason.
Yeah.
Why. Yeah, that's him. Yeah.
Wait, what? Okay. I didn't know his name. Yeah, I saw this.
You've probably
I saw
seen
this,
him.
Somebody sent like this exact picture to me at 3 a.m. and I woke up in a fucking cold sweat, and I think I passed out because I didn't understand exactly what it is I was seeing. Wait, what is this like? Wait, this is a real person. I'm just piecing this together that this isn't Photoshop.
I think he's 20 now.
What the hell? That's crazy.
He's 19 or 20. Yeah.
Yo, what am I seeing? What is this? I gotta say, it is evolutionarily scary to see this in motion. You know, like I feel like my nervous system shaking independently of my body when I watch this.
Well,
what is going on? Is it this? Does he have like a what's the thing he has?
I don't know exactly what his condition is, but I'm surprised you don't know him. He's very popular on social media. I think he has 8 million followers or something like that, like on Instagram.
He's amazing.
That's crazy. Like, yeah, I've seen him, but I guess I really thought he was fake. Like, no, I really just didn't believe that this was a real person.
A quick condition. Google. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Did you have it? Is that what you looked up?
It just said to me growth hormone deficiency or dwarfism is what
That's what I'm looking at too. Yeah.
That's interesting.
He's just real small and he's making the most of it. It's awesome. He gets away with so much shit.
Oh yeah.
He's so little, but he thumps on people and he's got that beef. I forget the other guy's name. The one who's the same size as him who I hope he fights in UFC.
He's in the video right there. Dream. Abdu Rozik.
Abdu, that's right.
He just hung out with Shaq. You got to see the video and the pictures of Hasbullah and Shaq. It's awesome. It's completely awesome. But yeah, he's a baller. You should definitely.
That's crazy. I'm surprised. Him. Yeah. I'll give it I really thought this was like an internet joke. I thought this was like kind of like Momo or whatever. It's just like really. I don't mean to be like mean. I just like genuinely like I saw it. I was like I don't. There's something about this doesn't register because I've seen dwarves before. You know what I mean? Like I know that they exist, but he looks so distinct, even among people with that specific. I don't know. I don't even know what you would call it, but
it's a genetic condition.
Yeah, condition.
But yeah, no, he's awesome. Matt and I are big fans of Hasbullah. Yeah, Matt has a cardboard cutout of him in his home.
Is it life size?
It's going to be. It is 3 feet. 3 feet tall. He's wearing a good suit. He looks sharp. It's going to be the first thing that goes on the wall in the studio is Hasbullah cut out.
Oh my God. This reminds me. You ever see the movie Willow?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Grew up with it.
That is like, I saw that movie for the first time recently, and I have never seen that many little people in my life in one place. You know what I mean?
You ever watched The Wizard of Oz?
No. That's like this. Willow is way more than The Wizard of Oz, my guy. Watch Willow again. It is, and I'm pretty sure The Wizard of Oz. I'm pretty sure they had like kids in there, but like in Willow, it's all, and it's like wow. Like, where do you even? How many? Do we know how many there are in like the United States? Is that like a census fact that you can look up?
That's got to be tough to put together because so many people are quite small for various reasons. You know, you'd have to add them all together.
That's true. Yeah, because there are just people who are just short. I mean, I'm 5'4". I'm not a particularly tall person either, but like that's
there's got to be a bell curve of heights though, because you would be able to extrapolate from that how many people were like 3-4 standard deviations below.
I've got a stat for you: 30,000 in the U.S. And this is specific of dwarfism. 30,000 in the U.S. and 651,700 in the world.
Whoa!
So not a lot.
That's a decent. Yeah, no, but it's a decent city if they banded together.
Yeah, that's in the world. It's out of almost 8 billion.
It's kind of awesome. There are more little people in the world than there are people in fucking Wyoming. I'm pretty sure. That's insane. Because I think I looked up population densities like kind of recently, just out of sheer curiosity. I don't even think it's for any reason. And I think it's like Wyoming or one of those states in that square kind of region that is like shockingly underpopulated.
Yeah, Wyoming is only 581,000.
That's crazy. That is crazy to me. That's a whole state.
Have you ever looked up how many people live in Iceland?
Yeah, like 8.
It's 8 people. Yeah, that's the number.
Yeah,
it's 8.
It's 8 people.
Isn't there prime minister in the phone book? Like there's so few people that just high profile ones like him are just listed in the phone book like everybody else.
Oh, I don't know. I never
That's
heard
crazy
that.
if that's true.
But yeah, the population of Iceland is only 366,000 people.
That's so fascinating to me. We have so many people here.
Oh, I know.
Like, I mean, not even just like in America, like America for sure, but like even America's like really spread out. I mean, obviously like Wyoming's like that's not a lot of people for that amount of space. But then you go to like Los Angeles and there are more people in Los Angeles than there are, I think, in like the fucking entire eastern half of like it's really stupid. I don't know. That shit bugs me out.
Yeah. There are places in China though, right, where the population density is shocking. Like it's hard to even imagine how you can stack people like Legos the way some of those cities are.
I know Tokyo's not really necessarily like huge on population, but I know Tokyo is like that because a cousin of mine was stationed in Tokyo. He was in, I can't remember which branch of the military, but he said it's like if New York went on forever. Mm-hmm. Like it's you can't see the end. It's such a bafflingly big city that is so big for so much of its landmass that it's shocking to imagine. I've always wanted to go.
I don't know what you've been sipping, but you've got it all wrong. It's time to commit to the Leaf. We've embraced the smoothness and surprising pick-me-up that tea provides. I literally drink it all day long, nearly a gallon a day, and it powers me through research, script writing, and forums on websites that I refuse to name here. But we don't drink normie NPC tea. We drink cultured and refined anime tea from the Dragon's Treasure. Kevin still likes the gunpowder green called Space Cowboy, and I've sampled nearly 40 Dragon's Treasure teas at this point. Lately, I've been slamming black teas like Kentucky Bourbon and liquefied Berserk Despair. Scottish Breakfast is deep and peaty, and I smooth it over with Sebastian's Morning Earl Grey, which has the best vanilla cream taste I think I've ever had in a cup. Give me a pot of that with a hot meatball sub from Sal's Pizza and Brooks Barbecue Chicken to wash down my last meal on death row. I highly recommend the sampler packs. You'll want to try everything just like I did. I literally have not had one tea that I wouldn't be happy to reorder. The Dragon's Wings membership fuels new tea experimentation, and the Tea of the Month Club provides a regularly scheduled surprise. And when you order from the Dragon's Treasure using code CREATE, you'll get 10% off your order. That's 10% off using the code CREATE at thedragonstreasure.com. The link's in the description.
I was just going to ask if you've been to Japan before. I feel like you're a guy who should have been to Japan by now. What's going on with that?
What does that mean?
I don't know. You do a gaming podcast full time. Like
weirdly accusatory.
No, it is a little accusatory. I mean, Sacred Symbols is like one of the most popular gaming podcasts in the world. And you haven't been to Japan. Come on, what gives?
That's true. It's the biggest nerd-oriented Patreon in the world. No big deal. But
I think a very big deal. Very big deal.
No, that you know what's crazy about that show is like it's such an enthusiast show. And it's such a niche show, like in my estimation, because it's like, oh, it's like a podcast about PlayStation. Like how many, you know what I mean? Like I remember when I agreed to do it, because Colin came up to me and was like, hey, do you want to do this? And I was like, yeah, I mean, it seems pretty low stakes. And then like it became like literally the biggest thing we did. And that,
the most high stakes thing imaginable.
Yeah, literally like it's like, there's a lot of people. But yeah, I don't know. Like I've wanted to go to Japan. I just think I've put it off because I don't like, in my experience, a lot of the people that I have met that have made it a point to tell me that they want to go to Japan. Does that make sense? Dude, yeah. It's just like a very particular...
That's not Japan's fault. That is not Japan's fault.
I know it's not Japan's fault. I'm very aware of that, but it's like it is one of those things where it's just like, man. Like I feel like when I was in high school and I was like getting into anime and I was like, oh man, I really like Dragon Ball Z. What else is there? And I started like kind of like delving into Cowboy Bebop, which I think is still like fantastic. But you know, I was delving into it, and then I would talk to other people about it, and then the only people that I could talk to about it were like the most upsetting people to be around. And it retroactively like ruined that entire genre for me. Like I still have like an immense amount of love for like Dragon Ball because it's kind of hard not to in America, especially. It's just such a cultural touchstone. But generally speaking, like it ruined. Like the kids running in the hallway with like their arms behind their back, like they're running in Naruto, or like they got the headbands on. I was like, oh man, I can't be one of these. Like I cannot be among you.
Okay. All right. I have 2 comments about this. Comment number 1, that hasn't stopped you from being on the most popular PlayStation podcast in the world, which caters to a lot of the people.
I know. I say this all the time. I say this all the time on the show also. But
I love that last week Lou Perez, like, yeah, there's a lot of stuff I can't really say because most of my fan base has those characteristics. I can't do that. And then you come in and just take a massive shit on like 97% of the people who listen to you.
Dude, I remember specifically, like I was like, we are on a PlayStation podcast. And I remember there was a big, I don't know if you guys particularly follow video games all that much, but there was a specific, when The Last of Us Part 2 came out, there was a whole thing about it, right? It was like one of the biggest, it was one of the biggest controversies I've ever seen in video games, because like the game leaked before, and then like there were a lot of plot points that were kind of spoiled, and like people were really like hammering in because it's a narrative based game and people didn't like a certain story choice. And that was like a big game for PlayStation. It was like probably like the one that most people consider to be the best one. And we did a 4-hour spoiler cast where I just talked about how deeply I hated it. And that was like concerning for me, because I was like, maybe I shouldn't have, after I'm done doing that kind of thing, I'm like, maybe I shouldn't have been honest. But then I'm like, it's too late. And I still get messages about it sometimes. So it's just like, what the fuck? Is like, oh man, this is a little bit intense for, an opinion about a video game. But that's the internet, though. It's all so intense for no reason. I feel like the internet used to be my escape from real life, and now it's like the reverse. Now I'm on the internet all the time. It's like, oh my God, I gotta go outside. I gotta go see a thing and talk to a person in person.
It's so interesting that you say that, because that's what the touch grass meme is all about, and it's definitely something that has come up, I feel like, a lot more lately on our podcast than it used to. And I don't know what the switch is. I'm sure that being cooped up during COVID
that didn't help.
a big influence on this. But like, for instance, Rusty Cage, who we had on about a month ago or so, we talked about that at length, where he was like, essentially, I love being outside and like working on a project with my hands. And there are times where I just kind of dread getting back down and sitting in front of the computer.
Yeah, I'm kind of in a similar spot. Like, I don't really have the space to do like crazy, like this, like him building a guillotine.
To build a guillotine?
Yeah. That was fucking crazy.
You don't have the space to build a guillotine?
I don't have the space to build a guillotine, but I do like that stuff too. Like I like, even when I was moving here, I was like, what, I'm gonna start fresh, because I have a studio back where my parents live. It's a nice studio. I don't want to take everything out of there. I'll just rebuild over here in my own space. And so I was really excited about that, because I get to build furniture, which is like the most tedious thing to a lot of people. But there's something really satisfying about just like putting shit together and like improvising, kind of like, I was like, the instructions are fine, but I can figure this out and just do it. I don't know. There is something to be said about even just something as simple as that, as indoor oriented as that is. It's still like not the internet, it's doing something that is not completely digital, but like
it's tangible.
It's tangible in a way that like I think is kind of important. But also just, I'm obviously more of a city person. I spent most of my life in cities, and I love just like going out and just going to a bar with like a few friends and just like people watching is like some of the most satisfying and interesting. I had this amazing encounter like a month ago at a bar where I was sitting there. I was waiting for some friends of mine to show up. I got there early because I like live really close. I'm like across the street from it. So I got there and this lady comes to me from behind the counter. She works there and she goes, "Hey, you a cameraman?" And I'm like, "What?" And she goes, and then this is literally the interaction. "Are you a cameraman?" And I go, "What?" And she goes, "I'm racist."
What?
She says that this is how she opens. And I'm like, "What?" And she goes, "Yeah, apparently I'm racist." And I'm like, what is happening? And she goes like
she was diagnosed by a doctor.
She was diagnosed racist. No, she like posted a TikTok, and it was getting like shit on by a lot of people because I didn't ask too many questions, because I was just like a little bit wary of this person. But she was like, yeah, apparently like TikTok can't handle a joke. And I'm like, yeah, that's how it goes. And then she goes, can you record yourself pretending to beat me up? And I was like, and then my friend showed up and then she walked away. But it was like, that sounds like a harrowing interaction, but I love that shit. Because just like these interactions with just like the strangest people just give me absolute life. Like, I love it.
I don't even know how to process that story.
No. Imagine being in it. Imagine you put on your VR helmet and you're in that scenario. It's just like a glitch. Yeah, it's like a glitching NPC that's like mixing up dialogue options. And I was just like, what is she worked there too? That's what's so crazy. And I still go to that bar. It's like a bar I frequent.
Have you seen her again?
No, I think she had a very short-lived tenure because she probably kept telling customers that she was racist.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you could find out specifically what race she hates. That would be interesting because I bet it's something you wouldn't expect. Since the whole thing was so weird, she's got to be like, I just have this problem with like illusions. It's plagued me since I was a child.
Yeah.
Just some bizarre thing that TikTok is.
Or she just loves NASCAR and doesn't understand what the term racist means.
That's a Yakuza mission. It is drastically so a Yakuza mission. I've only recently started playing Yakuza and I love that shit, but it really feels, I don't know, that's one of the more weirder interactions. A lot of them are just kind of like interesting. Like I remember a really, really long time ago in Manhattan, it was like 3 a.m. and I was like half asleep. I was staying at a girlfriend's dorm at the time. And then I get up to kind of get a drink of water and then I look out the window because I hear arguing outside and it is a man dressed like in a waffle costume on stilts arguing with a literal clown. Like an actual clown. And they were like arguing and one of the guys is like, you're parking in the wrong fucking spot. And I was like, I park where I want to park, motherfucker. Like, what the fuck you gonna do? But they're yelling at each other from like such vastly different heights. Because one of these guys is on stilts and I was like, what is going on? It's like, there must have been like I thought I was having a fever dream, but then I woke my girlfriend up. I was like, what the fuck? Are you seeing this? And she could still corroborate it to this day. Thank Christ. Because if I didn't have her to corroborate this story, it would feel like it would be just like, you hallucinated or something, or you were high. But it's just I don't know, man. Cities are so fucking funny. Like it makes sense that a lot of people who write like some of the best comedy get a lot of their inspiration from these places because it's just like the second you say that doesn't seem realistic, you can just be like, no, I saw this literally. This is literally as realistic as it gets.
It helps contextualize the fact that there are a lot of crazy people so that when you see crazy things online or just an insane tweet that you're like, who would think this?
Yeah.
It's like, well, crazy people.
Yeah.
There are plenty of crazy people. Just because they have an avatar and Twitter doesn't mean they're not insane.
Yeah. What I love about it though is like the little glance that you give to other people around you who know what the deal is. Like just it's like a little nod, like a signal boost to like, you're a sane one, right? It's like, look at this shit, right? Like what the fuck's going on? I really love that. It feels like you're entering like a Discord channel, like a private Discord channel, like with your thoughts with other people. It's like, yeah, that's fucking like, you see this shit? That's a waffle. What the fuck is that?
I think I've lost my appreciation for that kind of thing. Like now really mundane things are the shocking things to me. Like the other day I went into town, I went to the post office and yeah, it was like 80 degrees and the guy in front of me had long sleeves on. And I was like, can you believe this guy? He's got long sleeves on a day like this.
Can you believe the nerve of this guy? I'm going to shoot this guy in the back of a Denny's. I can't believe this guy.
That's like the craziness that is crazy to me.
I know
now.
Exactly what you mean because the internet has kind of like made crazy seem like the new normal. Because like a lot of times people will, you'd be like, oh, this place is falling apart. This country is fucking falling apart at the seams. Because you see like videos of like the most insane shit that people will of course record because why would you not? And it's like kind of like blasted to the front page and you're like, look at this. It's crazy. It's like, listen, man, half of the shit that I see shared on like, oh, look at how crazy New York is. Like, listen, man, I lived there pretty much my entire life. I ain't seen nothing like that shit. Like I've seen a waffle arguing with a clown. Yeah. But like I haven't seen, I don't know, there's some videos I see, like, I don't even know where they take place, but like, I assume it's in like a major city just because it's just like, I saw this video of a guy getting slapped in the face outside of a 7-Eleven, and then he pulls out a grenade.
What?
This is a real video. I don't know how you would find this. I bet just the search terms would probably work. I don't know what platform it's on, because I'm pretty sure it's on Twitter. It's just the video with no keywords attached to it, so it's kind of a bitch to find. But it's like this dude pulls out a grenade, and then people start running, and then it explodes. I don't know if he's dead or not, but like, imagine the sheer, like, just the sheer overreaction of that. Like, imagine you see a roach in your house and you burn it down. That is such a drastic step. Also, where did you get a grenade?
Well, that's my question. Where did the grenade come from? Is it live? Is it a prop?
I don't know. Well, no, because it exploded. That video is one of the most bewildering things. Yeah, it's like that Anchorman scene. Absolutely. It's like, where'd you get a hand grenade?
Where'd you get a hand grenade?
I love that movie. That movie's so, like, that movie's like one
really
of those
funny.
It's a very old, like, type of comedy, but I feel like it's so absurd that it just kind of works. That scene where Jack Black kicks the dog off the bridge is like one of my favorite physical comedy bits in any movie. Well, now this is happening. That's such a great line for that.
And those type of movies seem to be dead. They seem to be gone. Do they? Yeah. Do they exist at all anymore?
They tried to make. I know. Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly tried to make like a Sherlock Holmes comedy type thing a couple years back, and it just did not land well at all. I think certain, I don't know, comedy is tricky because some comedy is like incredibly timeless, and then other comedy is very, very. It has a very immediate shelf life. It's a very fickle thing in that way.
Yeah. Okay. Let me get to my number 2 before about Japan from 15 minutes ago.
Oh, right.
My number 2 is that I'm telling you that you should go to Japan. I have been to Japan and I would love to go back. Matt has been to Japan. We went together as part of a conference. It was great.
Yeah,
it was great. It's amazing.
No, I bet.
Whether or not you consider me in like the pool of undesirables is another question. But if I'm not in that pool, then at least you have one person outside the pool suggesting that you should go there because it's awesome.
No, I know. I'm like half joking. Like it really is just like it's a matter of, I have never really flown that far before. Like, I've really only been to Puerto Rico. I've been to Canada. I've never really left the country because it's not until the last few years that I've even really had the means to even do that. And then I'm usually like, I don't have the time to take that much of a vacation because I'm not going to fly to fucking Europe or like Japan for like 3 days. You know, that's like a week, 2 weeks.
It's shorter. But it's like 5 hours 45 minutes to go from New York to London. It's longer than that for me to go to Vegas.
No, yeah,
because I have to get a connection.
I understand. It's less about the distance and more about flying over the ocean. The ocean. Oh, okay. I not a fan, low key. You know, not a fan of the ocean. I don't like the shit that comes out of there. I keep seeing new fucking animals that emerge out of that cesspool every goddamn day.
I was going to ask you about this. It's so funny you brought it up anyway. I was going to ask you why you hate animals that you've never seen before.
Because I thought I had a pretty decent compendium of animals. You know what I mean? I thought I had accumulated the vast majority of like my coat.
You're like dog, cat, elephant, rhinoceros. I got it.
It would be like if you saw a new color all of a sudden. Like that would probably make you angry. Because it's like, just like, what? I don't understand. How did I not see? How did I go like fucking 28, like 30 years without seeing this? It's a color. And then you have these new animals popping. Keep in mind, animals are going extinct rapidly. All right.
A lot.
Like there are more animals leaving than there are coming in. So how the fuck is there like a new axolotl or like some weird slug with stupid barbed fucking wiggly antennas that just like I've never seen before? Like, what is this shit? Who's making this?
Oh man. Well, yeah, I mean, so much of, you know, places like the Amazon, let alone the entire ocean, are not well documented. You know, we have not explored much of the ocean.
No, but that's
kind of hard to.
That's why the ocean fucks me. Like, I don't like flying over that many things that I know I don't know about. Like that
Yeah.
really bothers me incredibly. Like I would sincerely rather be in space than in the ocean. Because like
did you see the
wait,
oh no, go on about space.
No, well, I was going to say
you saw the thing this is the worst Ghostbusters stream crossing ever. In 160 episodes, this is the most tangled we've gotten. Okay, officially, it is space time.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say just because like I feel like generally you're in space. That's already a pretty fantastical thing. The ocean's not like you get it. You know, you've been to a beach. You've stared out from the shore into the ocean. It's like you kind of get the ocean. Like the ocean's not all that. Like it's mysterious in the sense that you don't know what like stupid like piece of shit is living in it. But it's like it's mostly just not a pleasant place. Like space is fantastical. If you die in space, it's like guess what? You died in space. That's kind of badass. That's way cooler than drowning in the ocean like a fucking loser. Like that's such a I would hate to drown in the ocean. Also, you know what's fucked about the ocean? People die in the ocean from thirst. That's fucked. That is cruel in such a deeply like hellish way that you're drowning in the thing that could help you, but you can't drink it because it'll kill you. That is fucking Sisyphus shit. Anyway,
it's a little ironic.
Anyway, sorry. I get passionate talking about the ocean because I hate it so deeply. In fact, I think we should boil the oceans. That's my solution to global warming. Boil the oceans.
But if something lives through that boiling process, it's going to be truly terrifying.
That is true, yeah.
I mean, you're literally creating a monster by doing that. You're
boil it a little bit.
The weak things.
Just boil like the top maybe like 30 feet. The top 30 feet of the ocean. So we have more sea level. Or less sea level. This doesn't make sense.
Not much. I don't think there's all that much up there anyways.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a bunch of
the scary stuff is down below.
Yeah, that's true. I guess it's more of a sea level thing. Like I was actually having an argument with my friend who's like a big comic book nerd, Sweeney. He co-hosts the Snark Tank with me.
Oh yeah, Tom Sweeney is great. He's awesome on Twitter.
Yeah, he's wonderful. But he was telling me, I was telling him that like Superman could really do a lot of good if he just like picked up one of the ice caps and got rid of it. You know what I mean? Like, because the whole problem with global warming, because the global warming is like ice caps melt, and there's a bunch of like frozen viruses in that fucking thing that like we're probably not prepared for. It's like that's a whole thing. It's like if the problem is that the ice caps are melting, get rid of them, and then they can't melt, and then our oceans are fine.
Just rip the Band-Aid off.
Yeah, just rip the Band-Aid off. Get rid of it. Yeah, we'll lose the polar bear, I guess. But like the polar bear's an asshole. Quite honestly, it's like, oh, look at me, I'm advertising Coca-Cola, and I kill people on yo. Polar bears are fucked animals. They're the worst bear by like a million miles. They'll eat your feet and then fuck you probably. Like they're such ravishingly disgusting. Wait. I'm sorry.
Where is this coming from?
I'm sorry.
What is this based upon?
I get really angry at animals.
Why specifically polar bears are like this,
dude? Because they're
very big.
They're big and they're incredibly violent. They're not like this cuddly like Coca-Cola creature. You know, like they will fuck you up.
They're not drinking bottles of Coca-Cola.
Let me put it this way. You remember that video? You remember that video that came out like not came out. It's not like a movie, but like that video that like was trending a couple. I think it was like maybe like probably less than a year ago of that girl pushing the bear off of the fence because it was like attacking her dogs or whatever.
Oh yeah.
There's this like you could not do that to a polar bear. Okay. Almost all bears are comparatively like pushovers in comparison to a polar bear. Like a polar bear will turn around, pull out a gun, and shoot you in the kneecaps, and then eat your face off. Like they're such demons. But we have this like
where they live. They live in like horrible, inhospitable environment. Like they must be pretty tough.
Well, honestly, earned. Quite honestly, that's an earned environment for them.
I got the ocean thing backwards. I want to correct myself real quick. Almost all ocean species live near the surface of the water. I don't know why I thought it was the opposite of that. But,
I mean, who knows?
But the things at the bottom are weird. So, like a couple weeks ago, I saw on Twitter video of a barrel eye. Have you seen this? The head of this fish.
It's gonna piss me off. I know
the face, like the face and this one should. The face and the head are transparent. and the eyeballs are behind under its skin, so it can look through from the inside out. And it's super weird.
What is it called?
Like barrel eye.
Oh, you
I'll
have
pop a
to
link
see.
this.
I just looked it up.
Yeah.
The picture of this thing is insane.
It's sci-fi.
Oh
It
my
is
god!
straight
It
up
looks like
sci-fi.
There's a picture of it like looking like dead on at the camera, and it looks like that Seaman game from oh my god, was it the
Yeah.
Dreamcast or whatever?
Oh, Dreamcast, yeah. You would talk to it. It came with a microphone.
Yeah. God, that's such a sick, disgusting. I don't like that.
It's weird.
I don't like that. That doesn't look real. It looks like it's got a galaxy in its head.
Maybe it does.
Yeah, that's really like a Men in Black fish.
Yeah.
With a little tiny galaxy. But things on land are seldom this strange. They always make sense in some way. Like an anteater looks so bizarre because, it has to go underground, suck out the ants and all that stuff. It always makes sense, and very few things are truly odd. But all the stuff at the bottom of the ocean is like a sick joke.
Yeah.
It's like... It's like nature and God had a drunk powwow where they came up with fake things.
There's no fucking rules down there, and that's what bothers me. Like, it's just like there's no rules. It just feels like people just randomizing shit on Gary's Mod and just like making shit. Like it just like that's like that Seaman, like the human face on the fish, like that. Like I could believe that that's real in the ocean. You know what I mean? Like that wouldn't surprise. If I saw that, it wouldn't faze me at all. It would be like, oh yeah, of course that's real. But if I saw that on land, I would be screaming. I would be screaming until you would hear me in fucking Japan. Like I don't know. The strangest thing on land is probably like maybe like to me kangaroos, even though they're like mostly like normal looking, it's just like it's more about like the fact that they're just like this bipedal muscular deer that has a pouch that it keeps its babies in. That's like fucking weird as hell. Also, they have talons. I didn't know that. Like they can yeah. Well, like they have like well, I don't know. Maybe it's like some of them. But like I know I think I saw some. I mean, I could be totally like making this up. Like I heard this and I just believed it at face value because I just assumed he wouldn't lie to me. But like, who the fuck knows?
They have like velociraptor claws.
Yeah, they have like. I heard that they could disembowel you if they kick you.
Yeah, they're really sharp and they're long enough. I'm trying to think what animal would have the most similar claws that we think of, but they're absolutely dangerous. And like you said, they're so powerful that. Somebody posted.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you're talking like 4 inches long.
That'll fuck you up, man.
That's truly a talon. Yeah,
with that level of force
behind,
that would pop you like a fucking like a Capri Sun, dude. Like that's a really sick. That's like it reminds me of cassowaries too. Like those are just basically fucking dinosaurs.
Yeah, a couple of these animals are just built for combat. They're built for warfare. They're like you truly.
Yeah,
it's like when tanks really became a thing, and it's like, oh, what can we outfit the tank with? Still make it practical, and you get like a turret gun and all this crazy shit. That's what a kangaroo is. Nature's like well-armed tank.
They square up to people too. Like they actually get into fighting positions, like boxers do. It's so gross. I don't like that.
Oh, there was a viral video of some guy punching a kangaroo who was like messing with his kid or something. It was an awesome video.
That's a famous video, and you know what's fucked up about it is like people don't pay attention to that video enough because people are like, ah ha ha, he punched the kangaroo. Isn't that like a funny video? And I'm like, no, watch that video again. That kangaroo has a dog in a very human headlock. Like it learned how to put an animal in a headlock somehow, and that is deeply disturbing. That's like if an octopus managed to like take apart a gun and put it back together. You know what I mean? Like that is a level of understanding of human strategy that I don't appreciate in an animal.
Would you? So you said you weren't too into sports. If there was like a UFC for animals, would you watch it?
Absolutely, yeah, I would. Absolutely. I think the reason I'm not interested in UFC is because it's people.
Wait, you mean cockfighting? Like this is a thing, and it's illegal.
No. Roosters are lame, though. That's not really interesting. I want to see kangaroos punch each other in a coliseum while people throw pretzels.
That's
at
right.
It. You know, like
it's horrible when you've got something from the same species fighting. That's cruel and unusual. It's sick. But if you get different species fighting, then it's okay.
Yeah, then it's a proper tournament.
So that's right. And if you have, do you think that there's an animal like it? The only rule here is we still have to respect weight classes to some degree. You can't have like an elephant against a chicken. This is dumb.
Yeah.
So you put the kangaroo in the ring. Is there anything roughly
This is my
the same
favorite
size that you
episode
think-
of The Great Unknown we've ever done. It's been purely stupid the entire time.
Is there something that could can something beat a kangaroo that's roughly in its weight class? This is my question.
Man, I don't know. I don't know enough about kangaroo weight classes. Honestly, I didn't study enough.
How much do they weigh?
Kangaroo weight?
I don't know, like size as opposed to weight. So like, so Ben in the episode chat says gorilla.
No way.
Could a gorilla be a kangaroo?
Would rip a kangaroo in half.
I feel like
that's not fair at all.
I feel like you could put a kangaroo against like a really angry chimp. I think maybe that'll be like a pretty. I feel like that would be a generally kind of fair fight because chimps are smaller, but they can also like squeeze your face into like a crumpled pile of flesh. So like they're pretty strong.
This is very video gamey though, because the question here that I'm asking is really like, can a warrior tank class type go up against like a mobile, quick ranged kind of thing that the kangaroo would be? Kangaroo versus gorilla is like a video game showdown.
Yeah. I mean, I think you can literally play that exact match in Tekken 2. I'm pretty sure there is a kangaroo in Tekken 2, and I think
gorilla.
there is. No, it's a.
They're freakishly strong. There's. I wish I could remember the stat, but even like chimpanzees are like 8 times stronger than the strongest human being. They're like, you have no idea how strong they are.
That's so
it's very scary. They'll literally rip each other apart. Like the chimps will go to war, which is really weird too. They'll go to war with each other.
One of my favorite
chimp, and they'll rip each other's like heads off. It's insane.
One of my favorite like primate oriented quotes is like there's this great clip of Joe Rogan talking about how like if you don't think a chimp wouldn't eat your feet and fuck you, you haven't been paying attention to the literature. The literature. I love how he describes his literature.
What literature is that?
I don't know what literature he's fucking. I have derailed this show so fucking hard.
Well, I mean, the scientific literature that observed chimps doing that or measured it somehow. I mean, that's the other thing is like we don't have good scientific techniques for actually measuring how strong these animals are. Think about that.
Yeah, I don't like how actually ignorant we are, despite how much information we have. It's like a disconcerting combination of information and genuine ignorance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because even observing them, who knows how much their behavior changes? So it's like, well, how are you going to observe them without observing them? Well, then you would just never know.
Yeah,
it's like the thing with the wolves, where for a long time, they put wolves in captivity to study them, and then their behavior changed completely, and then they based their captive behavior upon their research, which was entirely wrong because it was completely artificially created. It's like, yeah, wolves act like this. It's like, well, yeah, when you essentially put them in prison, they act like that.
Yeah,
they don't act like that in the wild.
Even just recording people makes them act different. Like if there's like a camera on them, or even people like individuals in crowds. There's like a whole dynamic where how like I think it's literally what's it called? There's like a term for it. I feel like oh my god, somebody in the chat might know. It's like a term for like.
Is this the observer effect where with first aid? Is this the example?
No, I was thinking more just like generally like people will be a lot more. People will act like very very differently if they're part of like a large crowd as opposed to if they're like on their own.
Yes.
If that's what it is, then that's something. I forget the name though.
So. If you, the bystander effect is the thing that I'm talking about, where the larger a crowd is, the less likely somebody is to help you. So if you grab your chest like you're having a heart attack and fall over, and you're hanging around 4 people in a grocery store in the checkout line, somebody's going to help. If you do this waiting for the subway at 8:45 in the morning and there are 300 people, they just trample over you. So what they perceive as the right response or their own responsibility in that moment completely and totally changes, not from you, not the situation at hand, but just from the presence of other people around. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. There was this one video I saw kind of recently of like, I think it was like it's a social fucking experiment. So who the fuck knows if any of this is real? But it was like, I think there were these people in a waiting room, and then like there was like smoke coming out from under the door, and they were trying to see. I think everybody was a paid actor except for like one person, and so they would see if there was like a fire in the building and there was like smoke coming out of the door and there was like very clearly something wrong, but everybody else didn't react to it, would somebody stand out by actually like leaving, or like would they act differently from the people around them based on how casual everybody else is being? And I think most of them just sat there, which is wild. Like I can't imagine. I might not say anything, but I'll definitely leave. You know?
Yeah. Sorry, I was just looking this up because I had remember reading that the bystander effect was a myth, and like that paper that it was based upon was wrong, and it was like garbage. So I was just looking it up real quick, and I'm not going to be able
like
to.
No. I know what you mean with it being challenged. I don't like some of the recreations of it. So, for example, I think it matters if people see the beginning of a thing. So, for example, if you are out at night and you walk by somebody laying on the ground, passed out, like you assume that they got super drunk and passed out and whatever. You probably don't stop like it's an emergency. If you see somebody keel over and fall down, you know, seeing the beginning of that and the context of it, I think changes things.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure that that's always been captured when people try to measure the bystander effect.
Yeah, there's a lot of variables in play too, where it's like, because I mean, what was that big concert that happened? Like, was it Astro World, or like some like people literally like, I think people.
Oh yeah, Travis Scott.
Yeah. Like, I feel like a lot of those people just straight up didn't see that. You know what I mean? Like when you got that many people in a crowd, yeah, you could say like, look at this crowd not paying attention, but you could also be like, you know, most of these people just can't see what's happening. There's so many people to focus on that it sort of blends into a crowd. But I do think like, I don't know, I think there's probably like some element of truth to the bystander effect. Maybe not in the way that they've written it out, but I definitely do think people are probably, on average, a little bit less willing to help out if there's like a group, because I feel like most people think like, oh, somebody in this group's got this.
From what I'm seeing, like in a real very cursory lookup of this, if it's kind of a smallish group, then nobody does anything. But like essentially, the larger the group, the higher the probability that someone will step in.
Oh, that's interesting.
It seems to be like the general idea here.
That is an interesting. So it's kind of like the idea. It's like, oh well, I'm not weird if I come in and help because other people are doing it.
Maybe, or just it could just be a numbers game where if there's like 12 people, none of them will do it, but if there's like 50 people, you know, one of the 50 will step in and not care what the other 49 think. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. That's. I feel like a lot of that stuff is. Yeah, it's kind of it's interesting in the same way that like Myers-Briggs is interesting. Where like, you know, like I'm sure there's like some data here that like is like vaguely telling to like the human experience, but at the same time, I kind of liken it to statistics where it's like, oh, how likely are you to crash on a plane? You know what I mean? Like very unlikely. But if you're on a plane that's crashing, that likelihood becomes like 100%. You know what I mean? Like.
Well, but you still don't want to fly over the ocean.
Yeah, I don't want to. Oh my God, landing in the ocean. Landing in the ocean.
That's right.
Landing in the ocean is like one of the. Oh my God, I can't even explain to you how. That's such a deeply traumatizing thought. I really hate that.
We want to help you make something and mean something. And we say that phrase all the time because when you're making something and you know it means something, even if it's just to you, that's when you feel pretty good about what you're creating. The support for the Create Unknown in recent weeks has been incredible. Animators, artists, musicians, YouTubers, aspiring filmmakers, comedians, it is crazy how talented everybody in this community is. Consider joining the Create Unknown Patreon. Every dollar that comes through goes straight into the podcast and its community. That means more highlights videos. It means a big Minecraft project that's on the way. And eventually we'd like to manufacture custom piss bottles so you never have to leave your battle station. And being a patron unlocks participation in all of our live recordings. You've seen the roster of guests we've had. Having access to their minds is a unique opportunity. You can go to patreon.com/thecreateunknown or click the link that's in the description. Every little bit helps and your support means absolutely everything to us. Patreon.com/thecreateunknown, links in the description. We appreciate you, Space Cowboys. Do you have as much of a problem with fire as you do with water?
No, fire's fine.
What? How is fire fine? So if there's if you had to choose between a flood and a wildfire, you're going with the fire.
Well, I guess, well, a flood's not really like, I'm talking specifically about the vast nothingness of the ocean, like being in the middle of the ocean.
If the ocean was fire instead of water, would that change things?
It would be a little bit different. It's less the water, and it's more just like the vast, like you're just hopeless. Like if you're in the middle of the ocean, you're not getting out of that. Like you're just going to sit there and float until you drown, or you're just going to die of thirst surrounded by water, which is fucked. Or like you're going to die of exposure, or like some shark's going to nibble on you, or some fucking.
I mean, they have like rescue options that are a lot better than I think you're giving it credit for. Maybe that you're aware of.
Is there a way to like? They
real. Would know if the plane was going down. First of all, they would 100% know that the plane was going down.
Yeah.
So like before it even crashed, they would be like,
I guess my thing is like, if my plane's crashing, just kill me. Like I don't want to survive a plane crash. Like I don't want that experience. I don't want to like look around and see everybody beheaded and then have to like eat people to survive for like 3 days. Like I don't want that experience. I'd rather just like crash into a mountain and fucking explode and be vaporized. I don't want to have this experience of like the plane's flooding and then people are like climbing over each other to get on the wing. And there's just like this, I just, that experience is just not one that I'm longing for, you know?
You're the guy who whips out the pistol and just eats the bullet on the way down.
Dude, I accept death every time I get on a plane, sincerely. Like, I don't like planes at all, but like I have to travel a lot. So I get on, like before I get on a plane, I'm usually like, all right, this is it.
But cars are so much more dangerous.
You're right. No, you're totally right. It's totally illogical. It's just a matter of like, there's absolutely nothing I can do. You know, like it's just like the plane, like the car, like, yeah, if I hydroplane or something, probably not in a great spot, but I can at least enact some imposition of will over where I'm going, or like how I interact with it in a way that could actually meaningfully mean the difference between life and death. Whereas like a plane, it's like if that's on the way down, it's like you're done, you know? So it's like, all right, I'm just going to accept it now before I get on the plane so I don't freak out when something bad happens. And this is a real thing that happened one time. The oxygen masks came down on my plane once.
Oh, jeez.
And
that's harrowing.
And because I accept it, I was actually totally fine. And there were like a bunch of people around me being like, oh, freaking out. It was like, I think it was like a glitch in like because it was like turbulence was happening and then like it all came down. Like it was not supposed to, but everybody was like freaking out. It was like genuine hysteria. And I was just like, yeah.
Did you breathe the oxygen?
No, I was like,
you blew it. There are oxygen bars all up and down the Vegas Strip. You get it served to you on a platter. It's thrown right in your face, and you don't just grab it and just suck some free oxygen.
What is that, by the way? The I saw that in Vegas when I went there the last time, which is like,
I've never done.
What is that though? Like, what does it do for you?
I guess you feel better and increases, you know, the oxygen in your blood or something. I don't know. It's never seemed useful to me. And it's expensive too. And every time I see somebody sitting at the oxygen bar, like, this is the biggest boner in all of Las Vegas. This person, I have no respect for this person. But
is it Woody Harrelson?
If it's an older person, I mean, you know, that makes sense a little bit. But you just see some like 27-year-old hungover, like, okay, the oxygen is not going to help you today.
No, absolutely not. You're beyond help. Get a Pedialyte or something. What are you doing? Like, drinking? I remember seeing it and thinking it was like a cyberpunk ass thing. Like being like, I was like, what there's an oxygen bar? Like, imagine seeing that. Imagine seeing
very brightly lit.
Yeah, it's always brightly lit up. It's like, but like, imagine
Neon
seeing that.
Lights.
Imagine seeing that photo, right, of an oxygen bar, and then sending that to the past. You could realistically convince somebody. It's like, look, there's no oxygen in the future, and you have to pay for it at fucking bars. Like, the air is like unbreathable. Look at this. And he's like, what the fuck is this? That's like that would shatter so many people's minds.
That was the whole plot of Spaceballs.
Was it really?
Yeah, they're losing the oxygen, and the guy is like snorting oxygen out of a can.
Oh,
and
yeah, you're right.
At the end, the ship turns into Mega Maid to vacuum the air out of the planet.
Oh my God, you're totally right.
The whole point of that.
I forgot about that entire, like, because that's like kind of like the underlying like the kind of like the setting of the plot kind of stuff. And I just totally forgot about this.
Yeah, that's like the big bad guy thing that whatever Darth Helmet is going to do is suck up all the oxygen.
Helmet, yeah. I love that. I love that movie.
Is it Lord Helmet? Yeah. Oh, it's so funny. It's so funny. That's a movie that was panned. I remember, like, people hated it when it came out, but I loved it. I was also like 5. So
that's the thing. Like, all the shit that's funny in that movie is really funny when you're 8.
Yeah, yeah.
Most of it's still funny now, but it is guaranteed extremely funny when you're 8.
It's like a wistful. It doesn't make you like laugh. It just makes you like wistfully exhale. You know, like
I do want to say quickly, Kevin, do you remember in high school when Boss Threads, who's in the episode dressed as Lord Helmet?
Yes.
It was. Yes. It might be the best Halloween costume I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. Stunningly accurately depicted. It was like excellent cosplay before that existed.
Yeah.
Is really what it was. It was like S-tier cosplay in like 1994.
It was a wild.
Let me ask you this. How many Queen of England Halloween costumes are we going to see?
Slutty Queen of England.
Yeah, Bloody Queen of England.
It's got to be like the slutty nurse is going to be slutty QE2 now.
Yeah, slutty dead green skeleton Queen of England. It's going to be crazy. The last time I spoke to you guys, the Queen still had firing synapses. It's kind of crazy to think about it. It's going to be like we're going to have a BC AC moment where it's like, oh, before Queen, after Queen. Because no one's gonna know. I mean, this King guy. I don't know if I'm a big fan of this guy. Yeah,
I think he's got very few fans. He's been kind of a bumbling fool for so long, and in the 80s too. Everybody took Diana's side when that went down.
Oh yeah.
Prince Charles has like one fan, and it's only one of his children. I bet he doesn't even have a unanimous vote in his own bloodline.
God, that all that shit is so.
It's a step down.
God, all the stuff with the royal family is just so creepy. Like I don't know, that whole thing.
I'm glad it exists. It's interesting.
It is interesting. It's interesting to look at. You know what I mean? Like, just to be like, how did they really? Man, that was like a whole thing that they really did. They just sort of like for a long period of time, they just fucked in the family.
I'm a really big fan though of the position as a whole, because I think I know it's odd an hour and a quarter in to say something serious at this point, but at this point in time, like at this point in history, the monarchy in England solely functions as being a leader of the people, a leader of public sentiment, not political at all. And it really runs into problems like having a president who has to serve both functions. Barack Obama angered quite a lot of people by jockeying back and forth between those two positions. Donald Trump angered a lot of people by not being enough of a leader of enough of the people. Well, in England, if there's a problem, not so much lately because the Queen's been so old, but that's a legitimate thing to have somebody function in almost a PR role who isn't tied directly to the rising tide of politics,
right.
That tide going out.
Yeah, like basically.
So anyway, that's why I like the monarchy. I support its existence for that reason.
I mean, there are certain there's certain planes and certain islands and certain black books that like make me feel a little bit weird about it, but I think generally like I think generally like it's fine. Like I do like the idea of, because the president has always felt to me like what the Queen is anyway. You know what I mean? Like it's like you're not. I mean, you're doing stuff, but you're not really doing that much, are you? Like actually, when it comes down to brass tacks, most of what you're doing is being like a public facing, logo for what is actually happening, and everything else is kind of like. But it's weird that they pretend like it's. I don't know. It's just like a very bizarre thing. Like, he's the because what is it the oh my god, it's like there's a term, commander in chief. Like where he makes military decisions, and it's like, all right, but like. I don't know, even Obama, when he was doing like Obamacare and then it got like gutted by the House and then it launched in like this like stupid, it was like such a dumb version of whatever the hell he was playing. It was just like useless. So like, I mean, if you can't do that as the president, then like why are you might as well just be like a logo at that point. You know what I mean?
Logo. Yeah, the thing I like is that like when gas prices get out of control, nobody in the United Kingdom was blaming the Queen. Like they blamed other people. They could ask other people to fix the problem. But it's somebody who was insulated from from those troubles. You know, they don't have any successes they need to celebrate either. But it's nice to be safe from that. It's like the opening round of a video game where it's designed so that you learn the controls.
Yeah.
That's nice. That's comforting and that's enjoyable. You know, it's not going to ruin your life. It's not the best thing in the world, but it's nice that it exists.
It's a weird analogy. The royal family is a tutorial for the rest of the game.
Yes. A fun tutorial.
I want to actually get to some of the questions that I had for you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I tend to derail podcasts pretty catastrophically.
No, everything is good. It's all good. But like I said, I actually do want to ask you a couple of things at least.
Yeah.
So what do I really? Okay, I'll start with like a real question, and then we'll have like more kind of like a cultural question. So the real question is, I would consider you like one of, honestly, the very few people who we've had on this podcast who kind of routinely engages in hot takes on Twitter. I think that especially over the years, a lot of people have gotten scared off of doing that. I've heard people say that they don't bother even really giving their opinion on things because they don't feel like the response is worth it. So you clearly don't feel that way, and that's that's interesting to me. So what is it that what motivates you to continue, I guess, to dip your toe in the hot take water and deal with all of sort of the feedback and blowback that comes with that?
I mean, I don't want to make it seem like it's like some crazy act of bravery to just be an asshole and like like, you know what I mean? Like I don't want to be like, oh man, I'm a brave soul. But I just genuinely don't. I do feel that way though. Like part of me is like, yeah, it's probably not worth it to say this. But then eventually I'm just like, I don't really care, because ultimately, like, what am I going to do? Like, I'm going to tweet something out there that I either think or I think is funny, and then I'll put the phone down, and then that's it. Like, that's if I really want to avoid the blowback, I'll just not look at it, because that's the internet. That's exactly how it works. But it is always weird. To me, the weird thing is the takes that explode versus the takes that don't. Like, there are certain takes that I tweet where I'm like, oh, this is probably going to be like a controversial one, and then it's not. But then one I think that is totally like normal gets like 20K likes in like an hour, and it's like, what the fuck? what did I say? Like I had the most recent one I was talking about, because I tweeted a little bit about the Little Mermaid movie, which, you know, I will say there's like a weird amount of like hate for that movie on specifically just because I know there are people out there who are like fucking weirdos, and they do genuinely have like a massive issue with like a black Little Mermaid. And I know that's like their main reason. It's like, oh man, this movie's gonna suck because there's a black Little Mermaid. It's like, no, this movie's gonna suck because it's a Disney live action remake, and they all have been terrible. But I tweeted something out about it, and how like I don't like how Disney is in this position where they can kind of I forget exactly what I said verbatim, but it was,
oh, you had a good term on this, didn't you?
I don't remember. I don't remember exactly like the verbiage that I used. But I don't like I guess I could always just like go back and I just feel weird reading and saying my own tweets back out. But I guess it would serve it would serve the conversation. Where is it? I got to scroll through my fucking bullshit. Oh man, where is it? Where did I say it? There it is.
I could have sworn there was a phrase that you used to describe what happens with the reviewing. Was that you, or was that Possum Reviews?
Oh, that might be Possum Reviews.
Somebody was talking.
I don't think I said anything about reviewing, but I basically said like one of the worst things about Disney is that they've perfected the weaponization of social justice in service of their bottom line, because you can criticize The Little Mermaid for being redundant and soulless, but then it gets immediately lumped in with like psychos, and then the movie like becomes this great cause, and it just puts Disney in this like insane power position that I fucking hate, because it's Disney. It's like this mega corporation that's like buying every single IP, and it's like digesting every single industry. It's such a, I don't know, it's so creepy and gross to me anyway.
Well, that was actually going to be the next question that I wanted to ask you is, did you have any further thoughts on like why the Disney live action remakes are all so bad? It doesn't seem to me like they should be. It seems like the animated versions were great. Just do that with actors and like some CG where you need it. and you're gold. Like, but what in the world gets lost in the translation? And like, what's happening actually?
Because that doesn't have to be good is kind of the thing. It's like as long as it's fine, it'll be huge. It'll be a huge success because it's based on this IP that's like very successful. It's Disney, so it's gonna have a lot of people jumping in on day one. And it's like, it's not even that these movies are bad, by the way. It's that they're really, really bland and really, really unnecessary. And just, you don't gain anything out of watching the new Pinocchio movie that you couldn't have gotten out of the old animation. In fact, you're losing a lot because you're not getting the great animation, and you're also getting a longer, more drawn out story made to justify the price tag of a modern movie ticket. So it's like this whole thing that's just, again, like, they're just incredibly bland. There's this fantastic, he's a friend of mine, Your Movie Sucks. I don't know if you've seen his stuff on YouTube.
We've had him on the podcast.
Yeah. YMS. Yeah. He did this fantastic video about the Lion King remake and all of the reasons why it's and it's like it's a great video. Like, it's like a 5-hour video, and it's like, I don't know if it's that long. But it is incredibly long. And it's really, really...
It's exhaustive in a good way.
It's exhaustive, and it's like really engrossing. And it is like, everything he says just makes perfect sense. And it like, he argues really well. And it's like, yeah, I mean, the movie is on its surface level fine, but it does so many of the things that the old movie does so much worse that it does kind of become offensive at a certain point. Like, and I do think most of these movies fall into that. It's just like, they're really passionless and just sort of really quick and easy ways to profiteer off of something that they know is going to be very successful. And, I mean, do what works, I guess. You're a company, you got to do what's right for your bottom line. But I guess it bothers me that these have turned into causes because Disney, they casted a black mermaid, which is like fine to me, like, whatever. I actually saw a leaked video of her doing the song, and it's actually like she nailed it. It's like a really good version of the song. And I'm not saying they do it on purpose, because I actually don't necessarily think so. But I feel cynical about it, because now this movie becomes a cause. It becomes less about like, oh, it's just a good movie, and now it becomes like, you have to see this movie to fight against all the people who are like fucking psychos about there being a black mermaid, and it becomes like a civic duty almost. And that's the part that freaks me out, because people do that. People like genuinely do it. I can't remember, there was like an example of something that happened it was the Buzz Lightyear thing. When that Lightyear movie came out, by the way, really bland, really incredible, like one of the blandest movies I've ever seen. But that Buzz Lightyear movie came out, and they cut this really minor gay scene out of it. Right? They did that on the cutting room floor, and then in response to like, I think a bill that was passing that was like homophobic or something. I can't remember exactly, but it was like something along those lines. They were like, you know what? We're gonna put the scene back in. And then people were like, yeah, fucking, but I was like, you cut it out in the first place. Like, you're not a good, but like, it's so fucking, and by the way, like, the scene is hilariously, like, it's like blurred and out of focus, and like in the background, it's like a very very easy to be edited out for China, which is like a, again, it's like a cynical strategy. It's like a cynical interpretation of it, but I can't help but like feel it. I'm sure that movie's going to be entirely okay and nothing else, and it's probably gonna just exist, and it's probably gonna make a lot of money, and whatever. It's the nature of it.
As you described all of this, I felt like it almost feels like bait is included in all of these things to bait all the wrong people on both sides.
Oh, totally. Yeah,
it's like, as you were saying, I'm not saying they do it on purpose. In my head, I hear you say, like, I'm not saying they don't do it on purpose either. It's annoying. So it's uncomfortable.
It's annoying to talk. You know what it's like, because there's such a lack of just normal opinions online, because I think people are afraid to have a normal opinion that is also shared by like people who aren't the greatest, that I think it allows like the most extreme shit to spread a lot faster, because there's no representation for just sane people. Everything is like portrayed as like this as like this tirade or like this rant, and so you have to, whenever you give like a really basic opinion, you kind of have to walk on eggshells with it, and it's incredibly frustrating, because doing that makes you look guilty even if you're not. You know what I mean? It's like this very uncomfortable I can't remember. There was like this comedian that I saw a while ago. It was like it had a pretty good joke where it was about like, this guy's technically not a pedophile. He's a hebophile, but arguing that makes you sound like a pedophile. And it's like, it's like you're right, but also like even just getting into the weeds is like dirty, So it's just like it's unfortunate, but it's the climate that we're in now.
Well, somebody in the chat mentioned that essentially that the stories were made for animation and that the magic is gone. Dan the Latch said that. I mean, the stories, a lot of these stories are older, first of all, than the animations, but so they weren't made for them.
They're also way more fucked up than the animations, like all of them.
Well, the interesting thing is that we see this it's not just Disney that has this problem. We see this with anime as well. Like the anime live action conversions, adaptations are always so bad. And I just wonder with those, I'm more familiar, I guess, with the anime ones than the Disney ones. I haven't watched any of the Disney ones. I don't want to. But I always wonder if it's possible to adapt anime to live action, if it can be done well, if the people involved actually care to do it well. Because I guess the problem I've seen a lot is it seems like the people doing it don't care at all about the source material, and then of course it's not going to be good.
Yeah. Anime is hard. Anime is a weird thing to adapt in general because, I mean, even some dubs are terrible, like when they take all of the same animation and all of the same action and even all the same music, but they put English voices over it, it just doesn't translate as well. I think that's largely just because, the Japanese language and the English language are so different, and just the little idiosyncrasies and communication is very, very, it's very, very different. Like, and I genuinely feel like a lot of people prefer, subs to prefer watching it in the original Japanese because they don't really understand Japanese, and so it's harder to identify like cringy dialogue or like bad acting if it's just written underneath sounds that you're not really registering as you know what I mean. Like I feel like,
oh, that's interesting.
I really do feel that way because I feel like, because I don't know what a bad Japanese voice actor sounds like. I really don't. I wouldn't even know how to begin judging that. Like every anime that I've ever heard in my life has had really good Japanese. I mean, some of the voices are annoying, but as far as I can tell, the acting's fine. But I could tell you, I could tell you a million movies and a million shows where it's like, ooh, that guy didn't do a good job. And it's because we speak English, and I feel like that is probably part of it. Dragon Ball is like one of the few exceptions where I feel like that English dub is actually genuinely good.
Very good, yeah.
To the point where
I have a question for both of you. Oh, sorry, finish that up.
I was. Don't worry about it.
Okay. I wanted to ask both of you what went so wrong with Cowboy Bebop with the live action, because I watched that as somebody who didn't know anything about the original. The extent of what I know about that is Kevin signing off this podcast with the Space Cowboys bit. So I watched it cold, and I just didn't think it was very good. I didn't know if that was a function of me not liking the source material, or if it was made badly.
It's bad.
What?
It's bad.
What happened there?
It is significantly bad. The theme song's great, but it is a bad adaptation. It's just not good. I don't know what the fuck they did. You know what's wild too is like I remember seeing that there was like a trailer that they had for it where they were promoting it. It's like, look, it's Cowboy Bebop, and I remember seeing this video and being like, that looks not bad, but it doesn't look like space. It doesn't look like Cowboy Bebop. Like if this style was its own like unique IP and its own story. Granted, this was just from the trailer. Like if the actual story beats are executed poorly, I watched like a little bit of it, and I was just like, I can't do this. But I remember thinking the style of it was cool and interesting, and I was like, oh, I'm down to see this. It's not Cowboy Bebop, but like whatever. But it's just like it is not even close to the source material. It's actually really jarring how different it is. Because the original, especially in the pilot, it's very like downbeat and very quiet. Uses a lot of silence. There's not really that much like flair in the beginning. And the show is just, I don't know, it kind of feels like a fucking Fortnite ad almost. It's like very bizarre. Like it's just very ADHD with the editing and all that stuff. And it's just like, all right.
Yeah. The way I would kind of describe it, I guess. So I didn't actually end up watching the show. I didn't watch the Netflix show. just because what I had seen from the previews was so distasteful that I was not interested in going any further with it.
Yeah.
But what I would say, yeah, Chris is spot on, that the Cowboy Bebop the anime is a total vibe show. It is like, it runs on 100% just pure vibes. There is like a lot of silence. There is the music plays a tremendous part of the show.
Yeah.
A huge part of the show is just the music of the show. The live action adaptation to me seemed like theater kids making a Cowboy Bebop show. Like theater kids got together and were like, we're going to do a Cowboy Bebop. And that's what I thought that show seemed like. And if anyone isn't familiar with theater kids, like they have a very particular type of like hammy energy.
Yeah, that's why I didn't like it. So I didn't know if that was part of the original. There were moments that felt tongue in cheek. So they felt like hokey, and I didn't know, well, maybe that's the charm, because there's hokiness in some of those shows and it works. Yeah, well, that's cool. But yeah, it felt tongue in cheek.
Well, you know, to me, it's like I actually like certain, I like campiness and I like hokiness. I love those like Sam Raimi movie. I like Evil Dead 2 and you know, just like stuff like wacky shit. Like I like that shit, but it doesn't serve Cowboy Bebop at all. Like it is so incredibly out of place in that world and in that show. It is, it's not representative at all. I don't know if I can't say whether or not you like the original show, but it's definitely not that, you know? It is a travesty. It's not as bad as like Dragon Ball Evolution, but it ain't great.
Yeah. That was my problem with that show. I was like, the vibe is just completely off. Yeah, the anime is really kind of subdued and kind of depressive in ways.
Yeah.
But in a way that's like kind of comforting, kind of like lo-fi music.
There's like a static, there's like a crackle kind of to it that like feels like, I don't know, it reminds me a little bit of, I mean, this is like, by the way, this is like very loose comparison, but it reminds me of Breaking Bad in the way that like they use kind of silence and the music does carry a lot of it, but it's also like it's used sparingly enough that it hits when it hits, and it's like a slower tone. I don't think it's as slow as Breaking Bad, obviously, but it's on my brain. It's on my brain because I've been watching Breaking Bad again.
Oh yeah, Breaking Bad is great. Vibecat in the chat just mentioned the term noir, the genre of noir, and certainly that's part of the anime. And I wouldn't say, from what I saw in the previews, was part of the live action. The live action, it really looked like a musical to me without the songs.
Oh, totally. Oh, you're right. You're totally right.
That's the energy. It's like the energy of like Mamma Mia without singing.
You're totally right. You're absolutely correct. I actually because I remember I saw that trailer and I was like, I do like the editing. I just don't like it for this. Because they were really creative with it. Like some of it, like it always sucks when like some major studio decides to like, oh, we're gonna make a live action version of this thing, and then you get people who like, I don't know. There's some people on the show who care what they're doing and other people who don't. And then like certain aspects are way cooler than others. And it's just like, you have to be there like, hey, I did a really good job editing this thing that what shouldn't have been edited this way, but they told me to. So here it is. It's like, I know so many people in production who just have to work on shit that they know is frustrating or that they know is just like so unnecessary.
Yeah, we have to go to our patron questions in a second, but I just wanted to button this topic with one more thought, which is that the odd thing to me with a lot of these shows is it seems like they're making it for no one. Like I don't understand the audience for some of these like adaptations or remakes or whatever it is. It's like, okay, so you aren't pleasing the diehard fans, who definitely is who you should be placating first off. And like a general audience like you, Matt, also doesn't like the show, who's not familiar with the original IP. So who are you making this show for? And I guess it was canceled immediately. So the answer was no one. But I just don't understand how no one along the way is like, has anybody considered who will actually like this?
It is weird.
I don't get that.
Yeah, I don't know. It blows my mind because there are people who are paid so much money to make these decisions. And you'd think that they would have a better idea of how to do this stuff than your average person does, and they so oftentimes don't. And I'm just left, I'm left baffled.
You make YouTube videos. You know that like you have to start with making a YouTube video for the people who like your YouTube videos. And then hopefully there's like some other element of it that will reach a general audience after that. That's the formula for making content online. Doesn't seem to be the formula for Hollywood with these things. It's like, we'll just make this for no one, I guess, and it'll fail. And then we'll just blame the diehard fans who didn't like the thing that we
and it hurts everybody too, because like what if, the show fails to capture the attention of the mass market, it fails to capture the attention of the original fans, but then it creates this like new pocket of like maybe some people who do like it that is now doomed to watch a show that will never finish because they're just going to cancel it.
Mm-hmm.
So you're literally making everybody upset.
Yeah. All right, that was it. I just wanted to button that conversation with that thought. Matt, what do we have for patron questions?
We've got some good ones. Vibecat asked something I wish I'd asked earlier, and it's about you getting to Japan. Why don't you just canoe?
Oh my God,
over the Pacific to Japan? but yeah, that's the real question. Is there a mode of transportation? Like, are you comfortable with ships or not?
I'll fly if I have to. I just haven't gotten around to it. That's really the. If
you had the choice,
if I had the choice,
let's say,
oh man,
what would you prefer?
I wish there was like some kind of train. That would be my preference.
Ocean train.
Yeah.
An underground tunnel.
Either an underground tunnel
LA
or like some crazy, like a monorail or something. Like, I don't know, it's just something.
Thousands of miles.
Yeah, thousands of miles on a monorail.
That'd be awesome.
Dan the Latch wants to know what you're putting on your pizza.
Okay. This is a lot because I feel like it depends on where I am. And I say that because in New York, it's like I feel like it's the unofficial pizza capital of the United States. I feel like that's safe to say. I know there's some Chicago people, but New York pizza's
that's fair.
Just scientifically better. Like it's just like actually there have been people who have like studied why, and it's like apparently like there's like a level of like fluoride and like a specific level of chlorine in the water that like allows for the dough to be thin and crispy in a way that it's not really possible in other places. It's like super interesting. Anybody who's interested even vaguely should look it up. But in New York, I won't put much on my pizza. I feel like a plain slice in New York or a pepperoni is entirely serviceable and entirely fine.
That's what Schlatt said. That's exactly what Schlatt said.
It's really good. Like you can't beat a pepperoni pizza. It's literally like if you think of a pizza, that's probably what you think of. And there's a reason. It's because in New York specifically, that is just it's nice, it's simple, it's all delicious, it's not overcomplicated, it's not crumbling under the weight of all the ingredients. That's what I go to in New York. When I'm in LA or anywhere else, I will load that thing like a motherfucker because the cheese and the dough and the sauce everywhere else is not as good. And so you need like onions and you need like different types of meat and mushrooms and you need all that stuff to kind of make what you're eating acceptable. Like I don't really eat pizza when I'm not home in New York. I just don't do it. And as a result, I'm a lot healthier whenever I'm not home. But have you seen the Twitter account Fucked Up Looking Pizzas? Oh no. Oh wait, I have to find that. It is so good. Exactly. Oh, I just popped it in the episode chat. It's one of the best accounts going. Absolutely. Instant follow. It's crazy how bizarre some of these are. Bro, look at all this. A couple of them are jokey memes, but a lot of them are just twisted. For real. Like a lot of it really is not. It's just not as easy as it looks, man. Like I remember when I was younger, I didn't think it was possible to make bad pizza, but it's like it's so remarkably possible. But you see things like this Coney dog pizza, chili Coney dog, onions, mustard, and cheese, and half the things they post. Yeah, half the things they post. You look at it and you're like, well, maybe I could go for this. God Christ, that's so bad. Like I can't. No, that's this Coney dog. No. This I don't even know what I'm looking at. It looks like a painting. You're not gonna. It is art. Yeah, it's art, but it ain't food. Look at those sad. Look at how sad that is. I don't know, man. There's some tough. I know people. Yeah, there's worth a follow. There's some really ugly pizzas in the chat. I know. I know it is one of those things where it's like it's probably like annoying, or it's like, oh, New Yorkers never shut up about their pizza, but it's like it really is just I wouldn't say it if it wasn't just scientifically true. Like I would bet you money that if you just flew to New York and had a slice, you would understand immediately. Because most people that I know who are like from elsewhere, and I've taken them back home for whatever reason, like they're coming home with Sweeney and I to do some stuff in New York City or an event or like whatever, I always make it a point to like, we gotta go here, and then I'll get them a piece of pizza, and it's always like they're like a baby opening their eyes for the first time. It is like I love doing it because I love seeing that reaction. It's like watching a formulative memory occur.
That could be its own Twitter account. It's like New York pizza virgins.
Yeah, I really, that would be a great idea. Sincerely,
you're like popping their pizza cherry.
When I was
the bagel
and
bagels, too.
bagel, yeah,
just shout out to bagels.
Yeah, shout out to
New York bagels.
Yeah, they are better, but it's also
and
just
that
bagel.
baby was on the cover of Nevermind.
That's right.
So you mentioned Sweeney, so I'm going to jump to this one from Horrid Creature. How did you and Derek CGI Sweeney's girlfriend into the one episode of Snark Tank? He needs to know.
So there's some backstory to this. We started this kind of in-joke in our friend group, and it kind of bled into the podcast audience that Sweeney's girlfriend was fake and he was hallucinating her. And like every time he'd be like, "Oh yeah, me and Lily went out." And it's like, "What, you and who?" Like, "What do you mean?" And we would just like kind of gaslight him constantly. It's like you should never do this to your friends, but we do it anyway because it's funny. And it just got on. It became such a big thing that there were Twitter accounts. I wish I could remember the exact name of it, but there's a Twitter account dedicated to taking photos that he took with his girlfriend and photoshopping her out. So he's just there by himself, and some of it is so good, it's astounding. Like you got some real artists working behind, like, around the clock on these photoshops. But on episode, I think 100, we decided to have her on, and because we thought it would just be like an amusing little celebration. But also, we knew that there would be an edit of the podcast where it was just Sweeney's empty chair and us talking to nobody, and there was. Within like a day, that episode is out there somewhere.
Well, the backstory makes that good for.
Yeah, you would have to. Yeah, it wouldn't be funny if I answered it. I had to like really explain it. But like that Twitter account is like some of those photoshops are hysterical. I wish I could. Oh man, I wish I knew what it was. It's been a while since I've looked at it, but it's pretty good if you can find it.
Well, we have a couple hypotheticals for you.
Oh man.
That are a little bit rapid fire. This one's from Boss Threads. I don't know if this is a culinary horror or something you would actually go for. You can answer it either way. But what animals make up your fantasy turducken?
Oh,
this is a good question.
Oh wow, fantasy turducken. So like basically like just shoving my favorite animals inside each other and eating them.
I think so. But it's got to make sense. I think the three animals have to be. Like, make it possible for one to fit inside the other.
Oh, man.
So as long as they can fit, then I think the animals count.
Fuck, holy wow. Okay, so... oh, God Christ. I think I love duck. So I'm going to keep the duck from the turducken, but that's it. Because duck is like... I remember I first had duck, it blew my fucking mind. I couldn't believe how good it was. So the duck will go inside a pig... And then that pig will go inside a deer. Venison. Have you ever had venison?
Oh,
mm-hmm.
Wow. This would work. I don't see any reason. You know, the pig too, being in the middle would just, the fat from the pig would just be amazing on both of those things.
I feel like that would be unironically delicious. Like it would probably be like a weird way to.
I was going to say this is viable. You know, I was thinking you would just come up with some ridiculous thing.
No. I take food very seriously. No jokes here.
And but it's genius. So you would need that fat because venison is so lean. Like you really put together a masterpiece on the spot. And like,
you know what's fucked up? I don't even think this is the first time this has come across my mind. I feel like for whatever reason, I feel like this is maybe the second time in my life that I've thought about shoving a duck inside of a pig inside of a deer.
Oh, okay. Well, now that my emphysema is under control, you've got a choice to make. This is from Barflugnarvan. You have to choose between jumping from a plane with no parachute and landing in the woods or marshy area, and you live, or you die in the crash. Which would you rather do?
Oh man. Well, wait, jumping out of a plane with a parachute and landing in the woods?
No parachute.
Oh, no,
you have
parachute,
no parachute.
but I live.
No, it's 10,000 feet. 10,000 feet. You land in the woods, marshy area, and you live, or you just die in
man,
this crash.
just take me out, man. Like that, you're not. I'm not me anymore when I land anyway. I'm pretty sure there's a very real possibility that I land and I look more like E.T. than I look like myself. So like I don't like
Why does that happen?
Well, it depends on how you land, right? If you land on your feet, then your legs get pushed up into your torso, so that's already half of the ET.
You're not Wile E. Coyote. I don't think you like turn into an accordion.
I feel like you would be shocked at how unrecognizable a person looks when they fall from 10,000 feet. I feel like that would I would immediately go bald because all the force would like pop all my hair follicles out. My eyes would probably sink into my, like, it's a whole fucking thing. It's like, and then in the miracle prospect that I even live, I'm not me anymore. Like my name's Dan all of a sudden because my memory's been rejiggered to such a vast degree. It's like those people who like you poke them in the brain and then suddenly they speak a different language or whatever the fuck. It's like that.
Oh yeah.
Like there's no way that's not happening to me if I'm landing with that much force. You know, and then I got all these broken bones.
If that's the case, why do you care? If you're somebody else,
well, I guess so.
Then you're gone
true.
anyway, man. Now you could just live as Dan Raygun.
Yeah, but this is a decision. This is a decision that I'm making about being in that scenario. This is a this scenario decision, and so this is pre-Dan. So I'd rather go out.
What if Dan didn't have to pay for the crimes you've committed as Chris?
He's genuinely a different person.
So this is like a get out of jail free card too.
Yeah,
that's right.
I mean, fortunately, I haven't committed many crimes, so like only like a handful. So I think I don't have that much to worry about. To me, really, honestly, I've talked about this with like friends of mine too, where it's like if in the event of like a really severe cultural reset, I'm talking like a big EMP or something. It's like all the internet's gone. All of our technology is gone. The world is in shambles. It's like Last of Us out there. I think part of me would be so relieved to never have to respond to an email ever again.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Like I feel like
I could see that.
Because I feel like there's like a level of stress that's associated with like world-ending scenarios that at least is justifiable to the brain and the body. Whereas like a lot of the stuff that we stress about now is so objectively meaningless. Like it's like, I got all these notifications that I got to get to, but like your dog's not worrying about fucking notifications.
Yeah, return to monkey.
Honestly, for real. Take me back. Pre Gmail.
Well, you've got another scenario, and then there's an advice question.
Oh, okay.
But first, you have to make another choice. It's a tough one. You have to swim 100 meters through the deepest part of the ocean. You have air.
Okay.
So this has been specified that you have like a full tank. You won't have to struggle to do the swimming. So you've got 100 meters through the deepest part of the ocean, or you have to fight a kangaroo on land. Which one is
fuck? It? Oh, man.
100 meters isn't that long.
Yeah.
But it's a lot, though.
The thing that I just don't... Man, I might swim. I might swim. That's shocking to me, even as I say it. But kangaroos are very jacked. And they also don't have emotions. So like I'd rather just I feel like I'd rather swim. I don't want to be fighting anything that can like disembowel me by accident. You know, like that's an entirely different scenario. I can swim. The thing that would fuck me up though is that you're so deep in the ocean that it would be incredibly dark, right? Oh, but then I would have to get up. I'd have to swim to the surface. Man. Am I allotted? Am I allotted to, like? Can I pick the arena? Like what is the scenario of this kangaroo fight? You guys can dress the set a little bit.
I think that is just straight up in the outback. I think you're out there with unlimited territory. There's nobody around.
Oh my god! With all the other animals
this.
like potentially at risk of like appearing mid fight in the outback.
Yeah, but nobody's watching either, so you can get away with anything. Nobody's going to be like, "Oh my god, you did that to a kangaroo." They'll never. Yeah,
oh my god,
they'll never know what shitty moves.
Yeah, wow,
you
fucking shot Agent Orange gas into this fucking kangaroo's eyes. That's fucked up. I think. Yeah, I don't.
And then kissed it on the lips. Man, that was really weird. I don't know why you went there. That was bizarre.
Then you cut its feet off. And you gotta read the literature to understand.
Man, that's the thing that scares me most about that isn't even necessarily the kangaroo. It's more so like whatever else is lurking in the Australian outback. Like I've seen videos of spiders kicking people off of bikes in Australia. You know, like it is a dastardly place. But I think
so. It did say you had to pick one. That at the end of the question was
okay. You know what? So all right. You know what? I think I'll fight the kangaroo. I think I can maybe figure it out. Like as much as I'll probably like get bit by some vampire spider that looks like fucking Baphomet himself. I think I think I have a better. You know what it is? I have a better chance at getting through that scenario psychologically. Okay. Like I'll handle like a wound or something. Like that's fine. Like I've been hurt before. Like whatever. But I don't think I could swim underwater in the dark for that long and not come away with like some psychological fucking problem with it. Like I feel like I would only be able to, like I would never be able to go in a pool again or like
it would be terrifying. Yeah, like there's being in pure darkness, but that is being in a vault with no light of any kind. Like I do think that's a special kind of terror.
And then like a seaman might show up in front of you.
That's right.
Nah, man, not about that.
Well, the last one is going to be very beneficial to a portion of our audience. This is from Dan the Latch. Where and how can a short king seduce 6'5" Amazonian goddesses in 2022?
Oh, geez. I don't know.
Is there an art to that?
There is. I would say, man, I don't even know where you would find this group of people, but I would say generally.
Well, I'd start in the Amazon. I mean, if they're Amazonian goddesses, I guess so. But they'd be there?
This is gonna sound weird, but are there any Amazons left in the Amazon?
Oh yeah, are there still tribes?
For some reason, they register to me as like extinct. For some reason, I don't know why I thought that. I think you know what it is. It's because Wonder Woman exists, and I was like, oh, why would they base? You know, what I mean, it would be like if there was like a superhero based on the Amish, but the Amish are like still there. Like there's something, there's like a historical vibe to it, but it's like, no, we're just chilling out here in Pennsylvania. I think
a quick Google says there's 400 tribes.
Oh wow, all right. So I guess
that's a lot.
Look, man, fake it till you. Confidence is all like fake it till you make it. Sincerely, like if you just keep like just being like, yeah, I'm confident. Yeah, I'm confident. Eventually, you just will be, and then you got them out of the palm of your hand, man. It's like it's really that simple. I know that's like really like lame advice.
It seems like a good policy for everybody.
Yeah, for real. Like I genuinely think a lot of people like this can sound weird, but I feel like a lot of people hypnotize themselves into doing the things that they want to do, like through like repetition or through like I don't even know, just like habit forming things, like where it's like, oh yeah, you know, I'm not that confident. It's like, why? Well, okay, why aren't you confident? It's like, oh, because all these things are wrong with me. It's like, all right, well, maybe work on those. And if they can't be worked on, then maybe fucking. What's the problem? Like, just whatever, just be yourself and tell yourself that you're fucking awesome. Sincerely, like actually that really does work. Like if you just tell yourself the same shit over and over again, like for weeks and months, it just sort of becomes this like subconscious habit where you're just kind of always feeling good and you're always productive and you're always confident. It's like this weird, it's like a very weird trick, but I think it's kind of like hacking your brain. It's like you're smarter than your human limitations, but you're also using your human limitations to kind of get the best results out of your existence. It's like a whole, there's a lot to this, but
there are a whole lot of books that are about what
honestly, there's a lot of like stupid self-help shit that is really like
the power of positive thinking.
Yeah. I don't really subscribe to a lot of those self-help books because a lot of them are just,
what's that other one, like The Secret or something?
Oh yeah,
like
Manifest. That? Yeah, like all that. Like, don't take it literally. That's not like literally true, but like it does generally help to have like, because I don't know, man. I'm sure we all have somebody that we know that's like incredibly depressive, and it's just like this constant. Like I'll talk to some friends of mine, and they're just like constant downers, and it gets to the point where it's like, but you're in this depressive cycle, and you've been in this depressive cycle for like years now, and I'm trying to tell you, it's just like, nah, just try and get yourself into the habit of just like thinking a little bit more positively. So at the very least, you're just not, even if you're not doing anything different, you're at least not miserable with the time that you have. That's really all that we have really in this life is our time here. And to waste it being miserable when we can do something about it is just so dumb to me.
there's a Henry Ford quote that whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you're right.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
And that's honestly, that's a true thing. Like you've got to be somewhat of a fan of yourself on some level.
But I also just think, generally speaking, like, because let's say like, oh man, I want to start animation, but I'm like, I'm 28, like it's too late for me. It's too late. I know this is a common thing that I know a lot of people who feel this way, where it's like, oh, I want to do art, but I'm like, it's too late for me. Like everybody's so much farther ahead of me. It's like, yeah, maybe that's true. Maybe a lot of people are further ahead of you, but the only way to actually fail at that is to just not do it. Because if you do it, if you try it, if you like try to learn animation and you try to learn other things, then you are actively building your skill set and you are doing more with the time that you have. And then you are automatically going to be in a better position, whether or not you're this massive success or not, than you would be had you not tried it at all. So it really is this kind of like, it's not literally true that like, if I just stick with it, everything will be better. But it is literally true that the very thought process of you taking on new challenges and just doing things that you previously kind of like wrote off for yourself just puts you in a better position because you are doing more with the time that you have. And again, that's all we got, really. Like there's money and there's like, material things, but like time is non-refundable, you know?
Yeah. I mean, on that note, Rodney Dangerfield is who I always think of when it comes to people who became incredibly famous, but didn't really start doing what they became famous for until pretty late in life. I was trying to look it up to see how old he was when he like really started doing comedy. I think he was in his 40s.
Yeah. I mean, like there's a lot of people who like explode really, really late.
Ken Jeong was a proper medical doctor.
Yeah.
He went to Duke and then he went to, Chapel Hill, I think, is where he became a proper doctor. But yeah, he was like 35 years old before he started to get work. And then all of a sudden he's in The Hangover and he's Ken Jeong.
Yeah.
That's right.
Even just people like, I mean, Bryan Cranston's most famous role, like he was so much older than he obviously he was on Seinfeld and as like side characters. And like he did Malcolm in the Middle. And that was like a pretty big show. But like Breaking Bad was like phenomenally huge, and he was like well into his adulthood by then. So it's just, I don't know. I just feel like you've immediately lost if you're just like in this self-defeatist attitude. Like it just doesn't help anybody. It just makes you miserable. It makes everybody around you miserable, and it makes you not do anything. So like it's just it's just you're better off believing. You're even if you don't think it's literally true, you're better off believing it because the after effects of that thought process will do you far better than the alternative.
Yeah. I mean, I always think that nothing will happen if you don't do it. If you do nothing, then nothing will happen. So there you go.
That's true.
If you do nothing, then nothing is what you will get. If you want something, you got to do something. That's just kind of how reality works. All right, we're done with our Patron questions. I have one more that we like to end our episodes on for you, Chris, and that is, in your estimation, what makes a person interesting? How does one become an interesting person?
Oh my god, that is insane question. Holy that is what? Oh man, what makes a person interesting? I think I feel like generally the most interesting people that I know have generally been through a lot, but are still very I don't want to say necessarily optimistic, but have a good or like a positive spin on most of the things that they've been through. And what I mean by that is, generally speaking, like it's not interesting to me if someone's like, oh, this tortured artist. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm sad and like, everything's awful. Like that's not interesting to me. What's interesting to me is somebody who's like, yeah, I fucking my family exploded when I was 5. And so I have a podcast. Like that to me is a lot more interesting because it's just like I find I don't know, life is so brutal sometimes, and I feel like it's so easy to kind of fall into these kind of cycles of like, maybe things are really terrible. But the most interesting people are the people who kind of like not make it worth it.
Persevere.
I'm trying to. This is such an interesting question because now my mind's like racing in like a million different directions. But I think what makes people interesting is generally like if they can have some kind of positive or funny spin to a lot of the things that they've been through, whether or not they're like fucking horrible or not. I think that's a mark of an interesting person. I think people doing whatever they want to do, regardless of like a lot of other people's advice. Like there's a lot of comedians like Doug Stanhope and you know, people like that who like conventionally you'd be like, what the fuck is that? Or even people like Bo Burnham who like just does comedy in like a very, very unique and interesting way that's, you know, not necessarily my favorite, but it's like it's interesting that he's doing that at all. People who can take mediums and kind of twist it to serve what they want to do are very, very interesting to me. Whether it's animation, comedy, you know, acting, even YouTube, some of these people are like really incredible and interesting. And just the amount of shit that they're able to do in such a short period of time, and the organizational skill required, and how inspiring that is. I don't know. I don't know if that's really an answer, because I feel like there's so many ways to answer this, but
no, I think it makes sense. Perseverance is a good trait to have, and
also, I will say, I like people that I if I can't predict what you're going to say, I like that. Those are interesting people to me. Not to the point where you're just screaming slurs for no reason, but you know what I mean. You know, like.
Or asking you if you're a cameraman and subsequently telling you the next thing that I'm not going to say. Yeah. It's because I don't want it clipped out. But a little callback there. All right, we are done. Chris, thanks for coming back. It was great to have you. I got to 2 of my questions, so I'll save the other ones for next time.
Wait, how many questions do you have?
About 9.
Gee, I'm so sorry. I derailed this talking about the ocean for like 40 hours.
It was mostly ocean talk. That's okay. All right. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for our patrons for hanging out with us as always, and keeping that episode chat lively. If you want to support The Create Unknown, please go to patreon.com/The Create Unknown. We will be back next Tuesday, or Matt will be back. I will not be back. Yeah. So you'll be free.
Do you know what happens
from me?
Do you know what happens next week?
What's that?
The return of an after show.
Oh. Wow.
That's right.
Wow.
That's right. So it's basically a celebration of Kevin going back to prison.
That's right.
You being gone, we're going to have an after show party. But I'm excited to hang out with everybody after the show again.
All right. Well, next week will be a long one. If you're interested in hanging out, join our Discord. Okay, we're out of here. We'll see you, Space Cowboys.
Thanks for listening to The Create Unknown. We make this show with the support of our patrons. 100% of that goes directly to keeping episodes going every week, and the recent support has been amazing. Sid Poke, NRM, Venture Addicts, Weezer Good, you all really do make this show happen. Thank you to the Tots and Dumpster crew, old and new, who save tiny little lives every month. Thank you to our grizzled, battle-hardened child infantry. Clemente de los Santos, Dan the Latch, Demetrius Andrews, Erica, Farrakhan, Jen Mefasanti, Kevin Menard, Mikhail Steinke, Monahim, Natsu, Penny Peddler, Risebread, Ryan Kinder, Samuel Manser, Sean S., Sean Malone, and Tom Videoger. And a tremendous shout out to our elite Baby Gang commanders: Atrocious Guff, Kat, Dojangles, Graham Robertson, James Gallagher, Jeff Davis, Orange Vanilla Coke, Patrick Pister, TCU's personal pilot, Andy, Ryan Carroll, Baseweight Vinthos, Yeetus Deletus, Jonas Walter, Nathan Robinson, Chelxies, and of course, Trevstead. You are the elite. Thank you as well to our indentured servants, producer-editor Ben Webster, Minecraft mogul Laterman, Discord kitten wrangler Conrad, and producer emeritus Dan Yoshua. Thanks to Baseweight for use of Created in the Unknown for the opening theme. Thanks to Electro Voice for giving us mics to sound good on top of it. And a special thanks to Main Gear for powering all of our PC endeavors. The Create Unknown is an Unknown Media production in partnership with Studio 71.